Hello everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all doing great and that you're all having a fantastic day. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to follow me on Twitter. A very big thank you to everyone who leaves a comment on every video, helping out the algorithm. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. There's a lot going on, as there always is. I guess get ready for a bunch of good news. I don't know how to really categorize any of that anymore. Following the trend, the tradition of just about 99.9% of our days being filled with good cryptocurrency news, this day is no exception. Franklin Templeton has taken a significant step into the crypto space by filing for what they're calling the Franklin XRP Trust, marking a new wave of ETF development. If you at some point somehow managed to miss this, you are a wizard, Harry. I don't really know how you did it. We had wind or news or information of the fact that we had around 2 different companies filing for XRP ETFs. That number then became 5 companies, and now I believe we currently have more than a dozen. That's not a fake number. I think we have more than a dozen different XRP ETF filings. Ripple is expected to go public sometime this year. News about the finalization of the lawsuit with the SEC, the creation of their stablecoin, and there's also rumors of other big players getting into the space as well. If at any point you were a naysayer of Ripple and or XRP, don't feel bad. It's mainly because of Bitcoin maximalist propaganda from 2017. That's not a joke. Around 2018, 2019, when the company Ripple kept on getting shunned by basically the SEC, and then in the future more so by the SEC and Gary Gensler, they began to make really huge partnerships with other countries and other central banks around the world. And as we're now seeing this like blossoming, if you will, of regulation within the United States, and the idea, if you also missed it as well, that XRP is going to be like just continuously skyrocket. We're seeing all of these companies beginning to announce that they're also filing for listings as well for XRP ETFs. The latest news that we've received at the time of me making this video has been that there are a number of filings, and I mean across the board, for all altcoins, or the major altcoins with the SEC. But as of yet now, the SEC has not given a thumbs up to any of them, regardless of the coin, Litecoin, XRP, Solana, you name it. But apparently they have about a good, I think, month and a half before we get a finalized answer on them. This filing positions them as the largest asset manager to pursue a spot XRP ETF, following a trend set by other major firms in the sector. According to a CoinoTag source, it says the momentum seen in crypto ETF filings reflects a growing institutional interest, particularly driven by recent regulatory clarity. Yeah, it's been really weird that the SEC has actually been working with cryptocurrency companies and just not throwing out lawsuits every 14 and a half hours. But there's also rumors. There are rumors that apparently BlackRock is kind of waiting for all the dust to settle between Ripple and the SEC, all dust. If you missed the other video, it was alleged or stated that Ripple is working closely with the SEC because they also want to make sure that after all the lawsuit is done, that they want banks to be legally able to buy XRP, to be able to offer securitized versions of products using XRP. So there's like apparently a whole bunch of steps to all of this. And the rumor is, I haven't brought it to any video because it is a rumor, is that once all the dust settles, that apparently BlackRock is then also going to make their own XRP filing. If that happens, my friend, I'll just tell you, I'm going to be investing a lot in one particular coin, because if BlackRock puts any of their chips on anything, it's basically kind of potentially seen as like a gigantic thumbs up that the asset is going to do extremely well. So I even think that the BlackRock thing is just a matter of when and not if they're looking at it. All these people know each other. And they know how much money there actually is to be made. Yes, Franklin Templeton is filing for an XRP ETF. We will probably hear in a couple of weeks when this is, acknowledged as a filing by the SEC. And then we'll end up hearing that it gets put on some website. And then we'll start a countdown, because that's how it is for every single ETF filing. So, yeah, good times ahead. On top of that as well, and also very popular news. There we go. On the 13th of March, San Francisco-based blockchain technology firm Ripple secured a groundbreaking regulatory approval from the Dubai Financial Services Authority. Yes, if you didn't remember or forgot in some sort of way, the Middle East is very big on crypto, like gigantically big on crypto. And Dubai is kind of like, I don't want to use the term at the forefront, but they've been in the crypto market since around like 2018, 2019 publicly. Other places kind of like shy to the side and go, yeah, we're thinking about it. No, we've known that Dubai has been like very like friendly to crypto companies and crypto markets, and a lot of like heavy-handed investors in Dubai have also been coming forward for a number of years. Dubai was also, and I mean, can we be logical here? Dubai was also one of the places that we first heard last year was already buying up tons of Bitcoin in order to front run the United States for the for the Bitcoin reserve kind of thing. Ripple, as I stated a number of years ago, after being shunned heavily by the US SEC, they basically began to work with and in other countries. They were, I won't say the first, but they really started the trend because they had nowhere else to go. They promoted themselves as like a US-based company, but for some reason, old man Gensler was just, really coming after them. So we heard for a number of years they were doing business in Mexico and Latin America, all over the Middle East, Northern Asia, Southeast Asia. And, all those partnerships are now coming to not fruition, but they're getting betterer. Yes, Ripple has secured a regulatory approval from the Dubai Financial Services Authority. This makes Ripple the first blockchain payments provider licensed in the Dubai International Finance Center, DIFC, unlocking fully regulated cross-border cryptocurrency transactions in the United Arab Emirates, positioning Ripple to capitalize on a $40 billion cross-border payments market in the UAE, according to World Bank data. This is obviously gigantic. A lot of people tried to downplay a lot of the other stuff that they were doing. For those of you who don't know how MoneyGram and Western Union and all these other things work, at least the news that we've received before, they work on like basically kind of like physical cash. And in order to send money from Mexico to the Philippines, you in the Philippines would need Mexican pesos to be able to like finish that transaction. You have to have pre-funded accounts to kind of like finalize the entire transaction. And if you don't, well, basically the transaction doesn't go through. And then you also have a whole bunch of fees, and even crazier, the fees tend to be a lot higher the less economically stable the country actually is. So a lot of times, if you're in Mexico sending money to your family around the world, you have to pay a higher fee than people from wealthier, air quotes, countries would normally have to. So Ripple, back in 2019, began partnerships with a number of remittance companies in Latin America who have weaker currencies, also with Mexico, and also with the Philippines and Thailand, and you kind of name it. And like tons of money flows through XRP and the XRP blockchain and Ripple's systems, if you will, all dealing with XRP to these different countries around the world already. The idea is that we currently have, while we technically exist in a world where you can just send money back and forth between XRP and Bitcoin and Litecoin and Ethereum on chain, countries want some kind of like a mid-level point where they can keep track of the money that's moving around as well. So Ripple was also the first, really, I was there for it, was the first company who was like, hey, governments are going to want to get into this. We should be regulated. And people were like, you guys sound crazy. Now it doesn't sound so crazy because they're basically going to be using their systems. Here's a tweet for it right here. Huge news. Ripple is now DFSA licensed to offer regulated crypto products in the DIFC, bringing the speed and efficiency of blockchain to one of the world's biggest trade and cross-border payment hubs. Quite big news. Usually Ripple stuff tends to make gigantic news. Kind of cool. I assume Ripple will only do better and better. I cannot wait to see what happens when they actually go public. Like, I really, truly mean it. Because this company has really been doing everything that they said that they were going to do since 2017. Everything. That's the Ripple news. I know there was a lot, but there's more XRP news every day than you even want to think of imagining. You don't really understand how popular this company is and how popular this coin is. That's the UAE Ripple news. And yeah, let's move on. Wow. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Japanese investment firm, they're called Metaplanet, has announced the acquisition of an additional 156 Bitcoin as part of its ongoing Bitcoin treasury operations, bringing its total holdings to 2,391 BTC. The latest purchase was made at an average price of 86,000 per Bitcoin, totaling $13 million worth of Bitcoin that they have. This acquisition is part of the company's strategy to enhance shareholder value, with a reported Bitcoin yield of 31% for the current quarter. Metaplanet is in the news all the time now. If you missed it at any point, they are basically lightly mimicking what MicroStrategy is doing and has been doing by often issuing debt against the actual company, Metaplanet, in order to buy more Bitcoin. It's paid off quite well for them since they got into it last year. I assume their beginning acquisition started around $25,000 or $30,000 per Bitcoin, somewhere around that general number. They are still, as far as we understand, I think by next year, I think it was next year, if not the end of this year, they're trying to acquire 21,000 Bitcoin for the company alone, because they want to own 1% of all Bitcoin that there is or will ever be. So cool. Yeah, they're in the news like every 2 or 3 days now. There was like a bit of a, and I say this lightly, a bit of a slowdown, because who has that much money in one go? But yeah, they're in the news all the time now within the cryptocurrency space. They've become quite popular. I'm going to be honest with you, I would wish them good luck. But I really want those other 19,000 Bitcoin to be accumulated by you, like you listening to this, and like other people around the world. I'd rather normal people have all the Bitcoin so that they could actually benefit from it in some sort of way. This company will be just fine with or without Bitcoin. They're just only going to get richer with crypto. But I would rather another billion people acquire hundreds of thousands of Satoshis each so that they could all ride the wave upward, as opposed to a company who just has millions of dollars to throw into Bitcoin every other day. That's the Metaplanet news. And yeah, let's move on. Also in dramatically popular news, so over the years, we've gotten news ideas that other countries around the world were definitely getting into Bitcoin. What's typically happened is that historically, any country that was, under some sort of sanctions at some point by the United States or otherwise would begin using crypto. And there's also another story, I don't have it here. Apparently, Russia is now officially using crypto Bitcoin to do trade with other countries who are also under US sanctions. I saw the news and I rolled my eyes and I didn't want to include it in a video. Namely because we knew that since 2018. We've had news. Remember I told you years ago, there was a situation where I believe it was 2 or 3 countries, I want to say 3, came forward and announced that they wanted to issue Bitcoin bonds. So like not like a normal government bond based off of Bitcoin within their country. So the country would be accumulating Bitcoin. And the IMF and the BIS, swiftly were like absolutely the fudge not and told them like basically to go away. That was a day or two after the news that around 9 countries, apparently back in 2018, 2019, had already begun to use crypto to like trade between themselves. That's when we started getting news that like Russia was mining Bitcoin, and we were hearing about a lot of like other sanctioned countries. We kept on having news about it. We're also mining Bitcoin as well. And then I want to say Iran. That sounds familiar in my head for some reason. It was confirmed that they were basically using Bitcoin for imports and exports because they were having problems with the US dollar and also because of sanctions. And in that video, I was like, hey guys, you can't do an import or export unless you're like trading with someone. So guess who, like, they're trading with another country. They're not doing imports and exports by themselves. So now news has popped up once again. And this is how I always know that there are a lot of like brand new people within this space who, and once again, it's not that you're not paying attention. There's just so much happening all the time. I do, believe me, I know I'm a bit hard sometimes, but I do understand if you can't remember everything. I go over the news every day and I have to like look through the news and yada yada. So, it's more present in my head. But a lot of times things happen and I'm like, no, we went over this 3 years ago. No, that happened about 7 years ago. So what have you? There are a lot of countries on the planet who have already been using crypto for a number of years. And now we're basically having another one who's getting added to the list. It says crypto is becoming relevant for the operation of supply chains in several countries around the world. According to a spokesperson from YPFB, the largest state-owned energy company in Bolivia, the company is preparing to rely on cryptocurrency payments to bring fuel and other energy imports to the country. When I tell you in no uncertain terms, once again, not going to go on a rant here. When I tell you all the time that we already, like, Bitcoin has already won. The idea that you've been given, usually, I don't know if it's from other crypto YouTubers or just by financial websites, is that Bitcoin is like, we're still all crossing our fingers being like, please work. I really hope this. No, you cannot put the cat, you can't put the blockchain back in the bag at this point. Countries have been using crypto for longer than you've been told, even probably longer than I've been told. They've been trading in Bitcoin like as a literal currency for a number of years. There are countries who are constantly mining Bitcoin. It's about 15 to 20 countries that we know about. We just got news recently about Abu Dhabi, who's also mining Bitcoin as well. We know that multiple places around the world, governments, not the people there, governments are mining Bitcoin, and they've been using it as a form of payment. That's what I've been whenever I, am here and I keep saying, I'm like, I don't understand how you can't be bullish on all of this. I understand you might not be remembering everything that's happening. It's weird. This also ties into what we were talking about a couple of days ago about the whole Andreas Antonopoulos thing. This was all predicted. I mean, really like 10, 11, 12 years ago, explicitly predicted that a number of countries, especially those who like are kind of like cash strapped or having trouble with the dollar, that they would begin to slowly adopt crypto for like small things. And then eventually they would go, well, the sanctions aren't going to go anywhere, so we got to start mining Bitcoin ourselves. And then they start trading. Do you understand like Bitcoin is used as a real world currency right now? You're not hearing about it because it's not as big as the dollar, the euro, or the yen. But you know that, remember the news that we had before that of all the assets and all the companies on the planet, like Bitcoin was like number 7 or something like that? This is a world currency and it's being used. The only reason we found this out about Bolivia is because they were like, oh yeah, crap, you found out. Yeah, we're using it. How many other countries that we don't know about are also secretly mining Bitcoin or just, without the public knowing it, who are also gathering and keeping Bitcoin for themselves, like just in case, or figuring out like, hey, the price of this keeps going up. We need more of it so that we can actually do world trade with a number of these other countries as well, who we normally wouldn't be able to trade with. Do you understand what's happening right in front of your face? The news that we keep getting, it's literally impossible to be bearish. You can't. If you have any negative whatever on crypto, it's because you're not watching this channel. It's because you're not paying attention. It's because you're not absorbing the news. It's because you're not actually paying attention to anything that I'm saying to you. That's the only gosh darn way to be bearish remotely on this market. And I mean it. Bitcoin's been around for 15, almost 16 years. What the heck is this market going to look like in the next 10 to 15 years if we already have countries mining it and using it as a currency? Did you see, for those of you who missed it, all the analysts right now think that we are about to start ripping and roaring in price. That Q2 is going to be the craziest thing that we've ever seen. Really, April, May, June, the craziest things that we've ever seen in our entire lives price-wise. What do you think is going to happen to Bitcoin when Bitcoin goes over $1 million per coin? You think other countries will be like, I'm going to stay away? Bitcoin at some point, if we continue on this track, that Bitcoin's going to $100 million per coin, right? $100 million per coin. You understand that at some point in the future, it's incredibly likely that Bitcoin is going to $100 million per coin. Do you understand that? Are you getting that? Has it entered into your brain yet? And this is all, my friends, this is all before we even talk about the Bitcoin ETFs nearing 2 million Bitcoin. For those of you who also missed that video, that news article, there was someone, and I was so happy that they wrote it. They wrote an article that basically said every single day that we were getting news about like outflows for the Bitcoin ETFs, there were also inflows. Like I've been saying for about a good year. They were saying every single time the news was like, if we had a $50 million worth of inflows, if the outflows were $14 million, the outflows made the news. They said even after all this drama, all this crazy stuff that we've been hearing about any kind of outflows from the Bitcoin ETFs, 95% of the funds have not moved. 95% of the money in Bitcoin ETFs has not even moved at all. It's not moving out of the funds. They're only accumulating more. This is before we talk about this year. Crazy MicroStrategy is trying to accumulate 1 million Bitcoin this year, not next year, this year. They want 1 million right now. This company who you've never heard of, Metaplanet, yeah, remember that? They're trying to acquire 1% of all Bitcoin this year. Not next year, 21,000 this year. Do you see what's going on? Do you understand the actual gravity of how nuts all of this is? We haven't spoken about the United States trying to acquire another 800,000 plus Bitcoin. Everyone forgot about that part as well. Remember the Bank of Montreal? Remember Barclays? Remember the other central banks who were also buying? We know that countries are mining and using Bitcoin for imports and exports. We won. Stop focusing on the price. We have literally won the game. YPFB has already designed a system capable of accounting for payments made in crypto due to the scarcity of dollars and dollar-denominated assets that Bolivia has been facing for some time. The spokesperson, who stated that the system was put in place to support the national subsidy policy for fuel purchases, stated, and I do quote, "From now on, these cryptocurrency transactions will be carried out." According to Reuters, the announcement was confirmed publicly by government officials who recognized that the system had been put in place and that the company intended to use it. I'm exhausted, guys. I'm actually I'm physically, mentally, and spiritually completely drained. I wish I could figure out, this is real. I really wish I'll tell you something. I often have this thing, and I know it's going to sound crazy and very first worldy. I always have this thing where I feel like I'm not doing enough. No matter how much I invest or how much money I put into stuff, I always feel, not that it's not enough, but I feel like I could always do so much more, that I'm capable of more, that this is sky's the limit kind of thing. And a lot of times I've wondered what the secret sauce is that would allow me to make people understand. It's not about believing. This isn't a belief system. This is it. It's working. What I could do to make 100 million other people on the planet come to realize exactly what's going on and what they're missing out on. Because I still, this will not change. I know we're going to enter into a future where Bitcoin's price goes over several $million and people will be annoyed and upset with themselves and life because they realize that they kind of missed out on the thing that they could have gotten into before. The way that all of this is moving, remember I told you at the beginning of the video, I was like, hey, it's only good news again. I feel like we're constantly jumping forward, but we're the only ones jumping. I feel like so few people within crypto are understanding what all of this is about. So few people in crypto are understanding what all of this is about. And I don't know how to make sense of it. I don't know how to grab the attention of other people to be do you see what's happening? Do you see how much money is being made? Do you see how much the world is changing? Yeah, so this was very big news. I saw this all over. Here's the original article from Reuters. Yeah, always good news within this space. I don't know how to handle it. I mean, I love it, but it's also yeah. I hope that you've all enjoyed. I hope that you all are doing well. I hope you've all been saving money. Hope you've all been adding to your savings account. I hope that you've all been selling miscellaneous things around your home that you do not need, that you do not want, that you are not using to build up your savings account. Hope you are remembering to drink water and eating healthy, taking care of yourself, going on walks. Call an old friend. Video chat with them. I do this sometimes with my friends. If I haven't seen them in a while, we chat, we talk, we reconnect. It's very good for you and your brain. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.